It's 5 minutes after 10 o'clock. You know, when you first started using this song, Bob, it was sounding weird, but now I kind of like it. I don't know, it grew on me.
Yeah, I think so. I think it kind of has that Three's Company vibe to it or something from back in the day.
Exactly. Bob Kennedy is here. He's with Berkshire Hathaway Home Team Realty. Your phone calls are an important part of this show, especially if you have a question. Maybe you're trying to sell or buy, or maybe somebody you know needs to sell, or maybe you need a second mortgage, that kind of thing, or home improvement loan, that kind of stuff. So it's the time of year people think about those things.
A lot of that going on. I was in Lowe's, I think it was Saturday morning. The place was mobbed. I mean, this was the one out on 40. It was just mobbed. So lots of things going on with the spring cleanup, I guess.
Such a huge store, isn't it? I mean, you can just...
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
It's so big. You could play football in there.
Yeah, and I can't, I'm not a handyman or anything, but it's just like amazing that there's that many products for people to use.
Right. So this is Home Expo on Saturday that we've been promoting, but you said you're not in it. The organizations you're in are in it, but you're not.
Right. But we have a couple things that we can touch on. Is just read a report that we're seeing nationally a lot of home buyers returning to the market that had been in the market, had owned a home, short sales, lost a job, the whole thing, the economy just kind of got them. But we're starting to see a lot of these people come back into the market. And a question I have for your listeners today is, if you're debating, if you're on the fence, what are the reasons that would keep you from jumping back into home ownership at this time? Be really interested to know.
Oh, wow. I actually fit into that category. I actually had a house that was foreclosed on way before all this. I was just me. I bit off more than I could chew. But that was 1990?
Yes.
1990, the economy was not great.
Yeah.
90, 91, and the economy just wasn't good. Of course, it was great compared to what we went through 5-6 years ago.
Right.
It wasn't. Times weren't that good then. You had the savings and loan crisis and all that stuff right around that time.
Am I considered a first-time buyer? I mean, I own a mobile home, so I don't know. I mean, but that's I rent the land it's on.
Well, you don't own fee simple land. You're.
So am I considered a first-time buyer, even though I had a house back in the late 80s?
I would say so.
Yeah. And does that make a difference to the lender?
No. They're not gonna. They're gonna look at your criteria from a qualifying standpoint.
So what is my reluctance? You're asking what the reluctance is. I'm trying to think what mine is, because I could do it. I mean, I could get the ball rolling and start it.
Well, that's why? Why are you reluctant to purchase a home?
I don't know. Because you know why? I think it's the shell shock of having lost a home. It's that I'm so afraid that that'll happen again. Maybe that's why, I guess.
Could be. I don't know. Are you in therapy?
It's a dumb reason, isn't it?
No, every reason's a valid reason. I mean, you're dealing with your money. You're dealing.
But does
with
that tell you
future.
anything when I say that to you? Does that tell you anything?
No, it just you just may. Some people don't want to feel that. Some people just don't want to feel tied down. They want to feel they can pack up and move.
But you got to live somewhere.
My feeling is if you're going to be in a community for a period of time, home ownership almost always pays off.
You know where we went? We went to this lady's house, real nice lady, for the Literacy Council. She was raising money also. Out in Fore Ranch?
Yep.
That's a nice neighborhood.
Really nice. That was a Pulte development. And they built that pretty much, they hit it right as the market was taking off. And I did a lot of work out there, and we worked with relocation for the corporate people. They said they built so fast out. They got hammered when the crash came. Not Pulte so much, but homeowners, because they really just bought at a frenzy. But I think they ended up building that thing out like a couple years ahead of time because there was such a demand.
I just like the way it's laid out.
It's a great. I think it's awesome. You got the paths, you got the gym, you got a pool. Right. You feel like you're in a resort. It's a lot of people love that community.
But it's not it's not considered gated, right?
There is a couple of the subdivisions have gates.
Oh, really?
But it's more...
Because we've drove in, there was no gate, no code, no nothing.
Well, if you go into the...
Cimarron we were in.
Cimarron is, that's the newest subdivision. And you probably saw a house we have listed in there.
Oh, really? How much is the house in there? What's the typical?
$178 for a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath. Yeah.
Okay.
Wow, what a
And-
beautiful area.
Yeah, it is. Cimarron's nice.
So what does that work out to on a monthly payment?
Well, you'd have to.
$400. It's like I mean, you told us one time that it works out nice.
Well, at the break, I'll look at a mortgage calculator.
Okay.
But 100, I always base it. It's easier to start in $100,000 increments, and think that you could actually get something below that is even more amazing. But it's at 4% money or 3.5% money. It's cheaper than rent.
Did the $20,000 home get sold yet? Because I had a call about it last week.
That one, I don't know if the auction came up. It was an auction home. So I had to wait for the auction. But my guess is that if the auction date happened, it sold.
So things are picking up, and people. I have a friend, and he's not poor, and it was but he had he was what do you call it, upside down in one. He had several houses. So the one I'm going to tell you about, he didn't live in. He was renting it out, but he was upside down. He walked away from it. He brought the bank the keys. And that was it. If they foreclosed on it, and he just washed his hands of it. And I said, isn't that going to be a problem for you in the future with trying to get the credit? He said, no, because by the time everything gets back together, there's going to be so many of us that they'll probably forgive you of the loan or whatever.
I would have to disagree.
You disagree? Now that was a long time ago that he said that to me.
Well, a lot of people took that approach. They, especially on investments, they didn't put money into them because the money was cheap, so they were lending at 100% or more, and people were walking away. But a foreclosure eventually is going to catch up with you. It's going to be a judgment against you, and it will have an impact for a long time. And my feeling is he probably, without knowing the circumstances, he may have had a better option with the short sale, because it's not as bad a hit on your credit, and it's not a judgment going forward. But a foreclosure is a foreclosure. I mean, that's gonna run with you for a long time.
Is that worse than a bankruptcy on your credit?
Well, bankruptcy. It leads to bankruptcy a lot of times because people can't get that judgment off. So the bankruptcy kind of can clear it out, but that's more legalese than I can deal with.
Well, how does a person recover from that then? Say that did happen to them, and now they want to go buy a home.
Well, one of the things we're starting to see is that time heals all wounds, and you rebuild your credit, you keep your credit score up. Like if you've done a short sale on your house within the last 2 years, there are circumstances that will allow you to repurchase before the 2 years. And there's certain guidelines for it, and not everybody hits them, but there are ways to do it, and we're starting to see it more and more. Or people are hitting that threshold where they're ready to, because it's very emotional, it's very difficult for most people if they've gone through that. And there's, it just is. So, but they're coming back, and they're willing to put their toes in the water again, and the valuations are more normalized. And so we're starting to see those people come back into the market.
Another sign that the market is coming back is my nephew. My nephew, Jimmy, was a roofer. There was no work here. How many years ago? Maybe 10 years already?
Yeah, about 10, yeah.
Moved to New York, Long Island, where he was working as a roofer. Things picked up down here. Now he's back here in Marion County, and he's doing roofs again right here.
Nice. That's a good sign. Most, if people that are looking to get work done on their home, they're finding a lot of the contractors are very busy.
So that's good news.
That's great.
That means things are picking up. All right, we will take a little break. The phone lines are open if you want to call Bob. The number is 622-9622.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. It'll be partly sunny and warm today with a shower or thunderstorm around during the afternoon and evening, the high 82 to 86. Partly cloudy overnight, low 64 to 68. Sunshine mixing with building clouds tomorrow with a thunderstorm around at the afternoon, the high 84 to 88. Thursday, sunshine and warm, the high 85 to 89. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Hi, this is JP from Penn Flooring here in Ocala. I would like to invite you to come in and visit our spacious showroom where we have solutions for every style and budget. From wall-to-wall carpet to hardwood floors and tiles, we have an unsurpassed selection of flooring. At Penn Flooring, we've provided quality customer service with a family touch for over 25 years. Visit our website at pennflooring.com or come by our showroom, 1201 Southwest 17th Street, just over the bridge. Penn Flooring, quality customer service with a family touch.
My name is Erica Olstein. I'm a doctor of acupuncture and oriental medicine at A Better You Healthcare's Pokin' for the People Community Acupuncture. Join us every Monday at 4 p.m. for a relaxing and therapeutic community acupuncture session with like-minded, health-conscious individuals from our community. Pricing is only $35. Group sessions involve yoga breathing and acupuncture for the benefit of stress, anxiety, and depression. Unwind and start your week off right. If stress is leaving you a mess, you need a checkup from the neck up. When you're feeling blue, come to A Better You. A Better You Healthcare, just behind the Paddock Mall on 27th Avenue. For further details, visit abetteryouhealthcare.com or call 615-5566. Again, that number is 615-5566.
Good credits, bad credits. It's none of our business because we're not an auto dealer. We're not a bank. We're not your mother. We're OcalaForSale.com. Marion County's marketplace for cars, trucks, and SUVs. We've got thousands of sellers standing by to take your call. No middleman. But hurry, don't walk, don't run. Just sit down and log on to OcalaForSale.com. Prices and inventory change daily. Offer does not include dealer upcharge. Undercutting, rust-proofing, factory surcharge, or delivery fee. See website for details.
One of the most common questions those nearing retirement are asking: will I outlive my money? Retirement questions like these and many more will be answered every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. on Planning for a Better and Safer Retirement with hosts Francois and Julian Pozenet. Francois and Julian will help you put your retirement puzzle together. Catch Planning for a Better and Safer Retirement Saturdays at 9 a.m. on Ocala's News Talk, The Source 96.3 FM and 1370 AM.
Things you learned during the break, huh? Things you learned. All right.
I love this country.
All right. Well, I wouldn't mind living in Key West. I think that would be my second summer home.
That's right, man. Tiki bar and
or my winter home.
You're ready.
All right. Bob Kennedy is here. This is the show where you get to ask questions of Bob regarding real estate. Perhaps you're looking to buy land. Although you kind of discourage that. You want a home and land, right? You want the two together.
If you want to build a home and you want to buy a lot to build that home on, that's usually okay. If you want to buy a vacant residential lot for long-term investment strategies, that's a little bit more
There
dicey.
seems to be some lots like that on Silver Springs Boulevard. There are some spots that are completely vacant, and they've always been vacant. Right on the boulevard, like down near where it turns. Like next to Dunkin' Donuts.
Oh, yeah.
There's a big lot right there.
Yeah, but that's more commercial. That's a little bit different.
But I wonder why nobody ever built on it.
They had a lot of those things had been for sale for a while, so
Just asking too much, you think?
that could be. I mean, if the location's good, a lot of corporations. A lot of times you're going to have like a CVS, a Family Dollar, people like that, and they have certain parameters for their sites. They have to have so much frontage, so much parking, so much egress, and if those don't hit the criteria, the big boys will stay away.
Right. Well, there is a CVS right there too, right?
Yeah, right on the
other
corner.
side of it. Yeah.
When the lenders have to foreclose on somebody or somebody goes into bankruptcy, do the lenders then notify you so you can put the house on the market, or do they have their own set of real estate people?
They'll all the properties end up in the hands of real estate agents.
So we do have a phone call. Good morning. You're on the air with Bob Kennedy.
Yeah, good morning, everybody, and Bob.
Good morning.
Traditionally speaking, properties that are close to schools and maybe even churches are probably a little less valuable because of the fact of maybe traffic and kid noises on the playground and stuff like that. I've got a friend he's got children, and they want to move close to a school for convenience, that the kids would be going to the school, but eventually when the kids are gone and that, they might have trouble selling that property because of the fact that it's so close to a school. Would that be right?
I don't think it's going to cause much of an issue because, I mean, people always want to be close to schools. I mean, people love the idea of their kids being able to walk to school. So I don't think it's ever going to be, unless maybe it's you're in a major inner city that's in a you're near a rough school that the whole neighborhood has, a tough time. But I think, like, if you're talking about around here, I don't think that's a bad thing at all.
Yeah, but adjoining the school is a football field, and of course on the weekends in the fall they have football there, and there's going to be traffic and noise and congestion. Would that be a factor? Yeah, that could be a factor. I mean, if you don't want to hear a couple thousand people screaming on a Friday night 6 or 7 nights a year, you definitely don't want to be close to that school. But there's I'm thinking off the top of my head, there's a bunch of houses that go for good numbers around Little League complexes and out by the high schools. Most of them are pretty nice areas. Yeah. I know going back years ago, I had some friends that bought some property close to a major airport, and the airport eventually expanded the runway, and it came, it was getting kind of close, and they had a hard time selling their property. Now that would create some issues. Airports are a little bit different. Yeah, right. Hey, a quick question. Earlier in the day on this program, on the station, Larry was talking about the state and buying a property to preserve, to keep it natural and with water concerns and everything else, and they didn't know whether they should go ahead with it or not, and as a taxpayer, I personally think that they should go ahead and do as much as they can now, because the value of that property is going to skyrocket in time. And why pay an enormous price for something 5 years from now when you can get it now for maybe a fairly decent price? Is that thinking correct? Yeah, that's always kind of a debate. The same thing comes up when people talk about the county and the city buying land for like schools, and how do they determine what to pay, and should they have a backlog of land for future expansion and things like that. So that and I guess I'm not a political guy, but probably has something to do with the politics of the time. Yeah. Well, everybody knows that, for property values, maybe sometimes you kind of get a little sluggish, but eventually property has always been a great investment and probably always would be. Yeah. I mean, that's, the old story. They don't make any more of it, so. Right. Okay, thanks a lot. All right, thanks for the call.
There was another story in the news, too. In Lake County, there's actually something happening today. There's a homeowner taking her developer to court today because she says her community never built the equestrian center that was promised when she moved in 2007. And let's see, long story short, it just says that this is in Mount Dora. They said this community would have a horse place. Yes. It didn't happen. Now she has evidence that they don't intend to have a horse place where they wanted it. They've got, I guess, evidence that they will be building homes there instead. Apartments. Is it apartments? So she and dozens of her neighbors plan to attend the hearing before the Lake County judge set for this morning sometime. So...
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting case.
So if you move there just for that reason,
sure. If it's in the deeded restrictions as to the way the development was going to go, they probably have a pretty good leg to stand on.
Do you ever have anybody move here specifically because of the horses?
Absolutely.
Really?
Sure. They'll move not only to a horse farm, but they'll move to areas where they have access to trails. There's a couple subdivisions that are attached to trails. So yeah, absolutely.
And
yes.
And do we actually have better soil or something for horses than Lake County? It seems like they would have the same thing.
I just think that Marion County the horse industry
Just
seemed
became-
to settle here more.
Yeah.
I'm not that familiar with the horses in Lake County. A lot of farmland. We were out yesterday looking at a 200-acre farm with a private landing strip.
Oh, wow.
That was the guy ran cattle on. So that was pretty interesting.
Really?
Yeah.
To represent it? Or?
Yeah. Mhm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. We're probably only a couple $1 million off in our valuations.
And what kind of zoning does that kind of land have to have?
Well, if you're gonna have any kind of cattle or livestock, that's going to be agricultural zoned.
Oh, okay, so it's
It
not
keeps
just-
your taxes way down too.
So I occupied your time during the break, and you didn't get to look up the mortgage payment would be on that house in the Four Ranch area?
Right. Well, I'll send that to you. And if anybody on any of the audience needs it, they can just call me and I'll get it to them
So
also.
is there a mortgage calculator online somewhere?
You could get, yes, there is.
What if I did that right now?
I have on my phone, I have a Zillow mortgage app and I have our Berkshire Hathaway mortgage app.
Oh, okay.
But if you, it probably take about 5 minutes to get it all set up.
Here's what came up as soon as I put a mortgage. It says $100,000 mortgage at 3.92% interest, 30 years is a $473 a month payment.
Boom.
Wow.
Is that that 3.92? That's what it currently is.
Yeah, you can get more. It might be a little more, might be a little less, but
So
that gives you an idea.
And those homes are 170, so that would be what?
So what? It's not going to be.
500?
It's not going to be more than about $650, and then
Okay.
you have your taxes, insurance, and
Right,
HOA.
right.
But I mean, you can't. It's hard. It's hard to think that money you can. That's what you can afford. You don't have to have a huge income to qualify for that.
So a $300,000 home is it's $1,000 a month, $1,500 a month.
Isn't that amazing?
That is amazing. Wow.
Larry had a story about dock stamps this morning, that a percentage of dock stamps was supposed to go to the state of Florida, and then they were going to preserve land so
Yes.
nobody can build on that. If a person was to buy property, maybe 100 acres, could they have part of that acreage deemed as land that could not be developed on to go in line with the state?
No, those are two different things. What you're talking about, the money from the dock stamps is going towards a conservation where the state will purchase it and they'll be responsible, as opposed to a homeowner just wanting to buy some land so nobody builds next to them or something like that.
Okay.
You want to, if you got a guy, you own 50 acres, you want to buy the next 50 so you don't have anybody close to you, then you can just hold it forever, but unless you sell it to the state, that's two different subjects.
Oh, okay.
So do you want to talk about a house, Spotlight a Home?
Well, we already talked about the one in Four Ranch, so
Right.
I think we covered that.
Right.
If you're looking for a big bang for your buck, we have a house in Cobblestone North in Bellevue, is over 3,000 square feet, built in 2010, 4-bedroom, 3-bath. Just bring the whole family.
4-bedroom, 3-bath. Wow.
Yeah, bring the in-laws, the outlaws, and that's for we've reduced that to 215, and that's a lot of house for the money.
Wow.
And most of those homes now in that area are 2,300 square feet, so you're going to be up there. And we also just got a nice listing. I think it's 182 over in Indian Pine, which is a nice subdivision, been around for about 20 years off of Baseline.
Nice. Where's it? Off of base? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What's your phone number, Bob?
622-9700 is the office. You can see us on Facebook, and you can search for All Houses on bhhshometeam.com.
Excellent. And remember, these videos are all recorded. You can share them and call us if you need Bob's number repeated or the website repeated. Always fun. Thank you, Bob.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
We'll be right back.
Fox News Radio, I'm Pat O'Neill. It's up to the jurors now. Deliberations have begun in the Boston Marathon bombing trial of Johar Tsarnaev.
Jurors have 30